Welcome back to the days. Today we will learn about the explosive events unfolding in Salem between July 28th and August 1st, where secrets unravel, tempers flare, and unexpected romances ignite. A dangerous game of deception. Sophia Choi's world begins to crumble as the week kicks off in Salem. All eyes are on Sophia Choi, Rachel Boyd, who is rapidly running out of time and options. The tangled web she has woven with her fabricated adoption story begins to unravel. Despite her initial confidence, fear creeps in when whispers of Tate Black, Leo Howard, and Brady Black, Eric Martsolf, launching a quiet investigation begins circulating. Sophia, hoping to bury her secret deep beneath red tape and false paperwork, had claimed her baby was adopted in Chicago and was a girl. In truth, the child was born in Salem and is a boy. Sophia's lie was strategic. She confided to Melinda Trask, Tina Huang, that she feared people would notice the child's Asian features and connect the dots to Tate, especially since there are so few Asian families in Salem. Her hope was that geographical and racial misdirection would keep suspicions at bay. But Salem isn't a town where secrets stay buried for long. Melinda, ever the strategist, helps Sophia maintain her cover, but even she begins to worry as more people start asking questions. Sophia's anxiety reaches a breaking point when she spots Amy Choi, Sherna Nielsen, watching young Tesoro with an unmistakable sense of familiarity. The danger of someone piecing the truth together, that Tate is the father, looms large. Tate's grief and Holly's comfort. A bond deepens. Tate, meanwhile, is consumed by unresolved grief over the child he never got to meet. The idea that a piece of him is out in the world, lost to a cruel lie, tears him apart. Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis, becomes his source of solace. In a tender moment at the park, Tate breaks down, and Holly pulls him into a heartfelt embrace, whispering that he's not alone. Not now, not ever. This raw vulnerability draws them even closer. Holly, fiercely loyal, begins investigating the adoption alongside Tate, determined to help him uncover the truth. Their bond grows stronger with each passing day, and a budding romance seems inevitable, much to Sophia's dismay. Sophia had hoped to rekindle her relationship with Tate, but Holly's presence and strength of character prove a formidable barrier. In a desperate attempt to win Tate back, Sophia tries to guilt him, claiming she only gave up the baby because she had no other choice. But Tate is no longer easily manipulated. With Holly by his side, he begins to see through the lies. Marlena's mysterious health decline and chilling visions. Meanwhile, Dr. Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, finds herself trapped in a nightmare of her own. She confides in Anna Demera Leanne Hunley that she has begun seeing terrifying visions, most notably, the ghostly image of Stefano Demera, Joseph Mascalo, whispering her name and beckoning her to become his queen of the night. Marlena's mental state deteriorates rapidly. Concerned for her well-being, Anna alerts Tony Demera, Theo Penglis, and together, they urge Marlena to undergo tests. She resists, insisting the visions are just dreams. But the line between dream and reality blurs further when Marlena collapses during a visit to University Hospital. Enter Dr. Wilhelm Rolf, Richard Wharton, who insists on examining her. Rolf, fascinated by Marlena's symptoms, believes Stefano may have left behind one final, sinister gift, a psychological trigger, embedded in Marlena's subconscious, capable of reawakening her darker persona. He proposes setting up a lab nearby to monitor her more closely, sparking fears among Salem's residents that Rolf is up to his old tricks again. Courtroom chaos. Johnny Demera's trial heats up. The courthouse becomes the epicenter of drama as Johnny Demera's, Carson Boatman, trial continues. Testimonies pour in, including a fiery appearance by Paulina Price, Jackie Harry, who doesn't mince words on the stand. She accuses Johnny of manipulation and deceit, shocking the courtroom. E.J. Demera, Dan Feuerriegel, determined to protect his brother, decides to play dirty. Facing off against Belle Black, Martha Madison, E.J. brings underhanded tactics and surprising evidence to the table. It becomes clear that the trial isn't just about justice. It's about winning at any cost. Tensions rise outside the courtroom as well. Gabby Hernandez, Camila Banus, always looking for leverage, sets her sights on Philip Kyriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier. She begins subtly manipulating him, using her charm and shared history to pull him into her orbit. But as Gabby gets closer to Philip, something unexpected happens. Genuine feelings begin to emerge, threatening to throw her carefully laid plans into disarray. Kisses, fights, and romantic confusion. A tangled web of love, romance, and jealousy light up the streets of Salem. In a surprising twist, Sarah Horton, Lindsay Godfrey, shares an intimate kiss with Brady Black. The moment is electric. A mixture of gratitude, vulnerability, and a spark that neither of them expected. But the happiness is short-lived. Xander Cook, Paul Telfer, who still harbors feelings for Sarah, sees the kiss and flies into a jealous rage. Unable to control himself, he punches Brady in a fit of anger. The altercation leaves everyone stunned and sets off a new round of tension between Sarah and Xander. Later, in a moment of weakness, Gabby kisses Xander. Perhaps as a distraction or perhaps as a way to stir the pot further. The kiss is passionate but confusing, and Gabby walks away unsure of her feelings. Xander, meanwhile, is caught between heartbreak over Sarah and confusion about Gabby's intentions. Dark deals and financial intrigue. EJ's empire under scrutiny elsewhere in Salem. Kat Green, Annalyn McCord, teams up with Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gehring, to investigate suspicious financial activities tied to EJ DiMera. The duo uncovers discrepancies in EJ's offshore accounts, raising questions about how far he's willing to go to protect his family. Their investigation leads them into the murky world of DiMera Enterprises, where illegal transfers and hidden partnerships could implicate EJ in criminal activity. Kat, sharp and unrelenting, suspects EJ is funding Rolf's experiments through company money. The deeper they dig, the more dangerous the trail becomes. Looking ahead. Secrets on the verge of exposure as the week draws to a close. The stakes couldn't be higher. Sophia is on the verge of being exposed. Marlena teeters on the edge of psychological collapse, and multiple romances hang in delicate balance. With Johnny's fate in the hands of the court and EJ spiraling deeper into the dark side, Salem braces itself for a storm of secrets, betrayals, and shocking revelations. Stay tuned to Days of Our Lives, where nothing stays hidden for long, and every choice comes with a price. Next, welcome to the Days of Our Lives Fan Hub. Welcome back to the Days of Our Lives channel. Today we will dive into the emotional roller coaster from yesterday's gripping episode, where family tensions and unexpected encounters take center stage in Salem. Parental concerns grip Abe and Paulina over breakfast in the cozy confines of the bustling Salem pub, where the aroma of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon usually brings comfort. Abe Carver and his wife Paulina Price found themselves at a quiet table for breakfast. However, Paulina's plate remained untouched, her fork idly pushing around the eggs as worry lines etched deeper into her face. The looming trial weighed heavily on her mind, especially the prospect of being summoned as a witness, which could potentially seal the fate of her grandson Johnny DiMera. She confided in Abe about her sleepless nights, replaying scenarios where Johnny ends up behind bars for a crime she firmly believes he didn't commit. Adding to her conviction, her daughter Chanel shared the same unshakable faith in Johnny's innocence, often texting Paulina late into the evening with words of encouragement and shared theories about who the real culprit might be. Abe, ever the steady presence with his calm demeanor honed from years as mayor and police commissioner, reached across the table to squeeze her hand. He reminded her gently that her role was simply to uphold her civic duty by sharing the truth on the stand, nothing more and nothing less. Drawing from his own experiences in high-stakes situations, he painted a picture of how honesty had turned the tide in past cases, assuring her that the justice system, flawed as it may be, often rewards those who speak from the heart. Paulina nodded, though her eyes betrayed lingering doubts, imagining the courtroom filled with skeptical jurors and the sharp questions from attorneys that could twist her words. As their conversation shifted, Paulina inquired about Theo, Abe's son, whom he had just spoken to on the phone moments before. Abe leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms with a sigh that spoke volumes of a father's quiet heartache. He revealed that Theo was far from all right, having recently endured a painful breakup with Claire Brady. The details remained a mystery even to Abe, who speculated it might stem from the pressures of their young lives or perhaps unresolved issues from Claire's turbulent family history. Paulina's expression softened with empathy, recalling her own youthful heartbreaks and how they shaped her resilience. She offered words of optimism, suggesting that Theo, with his kind spirit and intelligence, would not only mend but emerge stronger, perhaps even finding new passions like volunteering at the community center or pursuing his interests in technology to distract from the pain. Before parting ways to face the day, Paulina paused at the pub's door, turning to Abe with a mix of hope and desperation in her voice. Leveraging his extensive background in law enforcement, she pressed him on Johnny's odds of beating the charges. Abe pondered for a moment, his gaze drifting to the window where the morning sun filtered through, casting long shadows reminiscent of uncertain futures. He explained that while the evidence against Johnny was purely circumstantial, lacking any direct proof like eyewitness accounts or physical links, it was a precarious position. From his days on the force, Abe recounted anonymized tales of trials where juries had convicted on even flimsier grounds, swayed by emotional testimonies or prosecutorial flair. Yet, he emphasized, the courtroom was ultimately a game of chance, where a skilled defense, unexpected witnesses, or even a juror's personal bias could tip the scales toward acquittal. Paulina left with a slightly lifted spirit, clutching her purse a bit tighter as she stepped into the Salem streets, determined to support her family through whatever twists lay ahead. An unexpected reunion. Brady and Rachel crossed paths with Gwen at the DiMera mansion. Meanwhile, at the opulent DiMera mansion, with its grand chandeliers and echoing hallways that have witnessed countless family dramas, Gwen Rizek arrived lugging heavy suitcases through the ornate front doors. Frustration bubbled up as she glanced around the empty foyer, expecting at least a butler or family member to assist with her move-in, but the silence only amplified her annoyance. She huffed while maneuvering the bags up the winding staircase to her newly assigned room, which overlooked the manicured gardens, a space she hoped would offer a fresh start away from her checkered past in Salem. Once settled, she began unpacking cherished mementos, like a faded photo of her mother and a small journal filled with reflections on her life's ups and downs. Just as she was catching her breath, the door creaked open to reveal Brady Black and his young daughter Rachel, their arrival adding an unexpected layer of chaos to Gwen's day. Brady's eyebrows shot up in surprise as he questioned her presence in the mansion, while Rachel, with her wide-eyed curiosity, tilted her head in confusion. Gwen explained enthusiastically that she was officially moving in, assuming the news had spread through the DiMera grapevine. Rachel shook her head, admitting this was her first time stepping foot in the mansion, having spent most of her days at her father's more modest home filled with toys and family photos. Brady, sensing the awkwardness, suggested Rachel fetch her swimming goggles from the car, hoping to diffuse the tension with a light activity planned for later. The atmosphere shifted dramatically when it became clear that Kristen DiMera, Rachel's mother, had orchestrated this release of custody amid the ongoing trial turmoil. Gwen's eyes widened in shock at the revelation, her mind racing back to her own complicated history with Kristen, including secret alliances and shared schemes that had bonded them as unlikely friends. Brady clarified that both he and Kristen had mutually decided this timing was ideal, allowing Rachel stability during the legal storm, perhaps with added security measures like extra locks on the doors to ensure her safety. Gwen expressed relief at steering clear of the courtroom drama herself, having learned from past entanglements how quickly such messes could engulf one's life. Rachel soon returned, her backpack bulging with stuffed animals, coloring books, and a favorite blanket, items that symbolized her comfort in uncertain times. Seizing the moment, Gwen knelt down to Rachel's level and inquired if she had any special messages for her mother, reminding the girl of their friendship with a warm smile. Brady couldn't help but comment on the peculiarity of E.J. DiMera allowing Gwen to reside there, given the family's notorious rivalries. Gwen chuckled dismissively, suspecting EJ was too preoccupied with his corporate dealings and personal vendettas to even register her arrival, let alone object. She excused herself to retrieve the last of her belongings from the Salem Inn, where she had stayed in a quaint room overlooking the town square, packing up final items like her favorite scented candles and a novel she was midway through. In her absence, Rachel tugged at Brady's sleeve, her voice urgent as she pleaded to leave immediately. Concerned, Brady knelt to her eye level, his protective instincts kicking in as he gently probed what was troubling her. Pointing toward the imposing living room door with its heavy wooden frame, Rachel whispered that it was the very spot where Johnny had been during a recent family gathering. Her lower lip trembled as she asked if she would have to testify that day, imagining the scary courtroom with its stern judge and flashing cameras. Brady reassured her softly, pulling her into a hug and explaining that no testimony was scheduled for today, though the exact date remained uncertain due to ongoing legal maneuvers. Rachel's eyes welled up with tears, her small fists clenched as she declared her fear of Johnny going to jail, envisioning a world without his fun stories and playful antics that brightened her days.